Hey guys, how's it going? Should be M.K.S here, back here with part 2 of Black Thursdays. I hope people out there enjoy it, and members of the Black community around, Black individuals and members of communities share these videos amongst each other, and hopefully share your ideas, and also potential allies or whatnot, people who are interested in Black empowerment. I hope you'll share your ideas and how companies and organisations can support the Black community. As I say, this is part 2, and I hope both the Facebook and YouTube versions record properly, because as usual nowadays I'm recording both of them at the same time. But yeah, so I'm a bit behind schedule. I probably planned to do this hours ago, to be fair, but you can probably tell put the big lights on behind me. I don't know if you notice compared to my other videos, because I know some people prefer a bit more lighting, and it's after 11 o'clock here, but I'm a bit wary about using too much electricity in the cost of living crisis. But anywho, I hope you enjoy these ideas, and again, I'd love to read other people's and also hear other people's ideas. And these are ideas number 11 to 20. So please, please do get involved, share these videos. I appreciate your likes. If you'd be so kind to share the video and these videos generally, and share your likes and whatnot, and also get involved in the comment section, that's what I was going to say, in the discussion. So yeah, here goes. So number 11, I would, from a personal note, I did want to do some writing on paper as well, some ideas on paper, but over the last few days, as often happens, I'm in a bit writer's block. So that's one thing personally I'd love to change, and I'd love to be able to write for at least an hour a day, and maybe encourage other groups like members of the Black community to do so, and to take notes and things like that. But I would love to know what you think the Black community could do, and I know I mentioned this briefly in part 1, but what do you think the Black community could do to change perceptions and that kind of thing, and change some of the stereotypes, challenge some of the stereotypes and things like that? And what do you think the Black community could change? I'd especially love to read from and hear from members of the Black community themselves. Another thing is, I would love to interview Black people and community members and whatnot, especially, and politicians, Black politicians, to discuss things like how to get more Black people into politics, whether that's learning about politics or even becoming MPs, politicians or whatnot, and lobbying together and whatnot, and just generally how to get more people, especially young Black people, into politics, and what could be changed, what if anything could be changed to help more Black people, also in politics and goal setting as well. That's another thing. And also I'd love to interview members of the Black community and Black individuals about on things like your goals and views and any work that you do, or whatnot. And so it would be your chance to promote any projects you work on, or any work that you work on, let's say in this case politically, I'm thinking on Thursdays, or any goals that you have in business or in life generally as well. So if you're interested in doing something like that, please drop me a comment. If you can find me, for those watching on YouTube, hopefully some people are watching on YouTube from Black community, please find me on Facebook. For those on Facebook, obviously, please do drop me any messages on in arranging any interviews, which you could do probably on Zoom, and then maybe record to YouTube or whatever you want to do with those interviews, in which case you could use them as free platforms to promote your plans, goals, ideas, aims, objectives, and whatever else. Yeah, I think that covers everything for point number 11. Number 12, as I say, I'd love to look into how to encourage more Black people to get into politics and to network together in tech and things like that, and discuss ideas for empowering the Black community. So on Zoom with individuals and groups, I'd love to discuss like how can there be mentors for the Black community, how can as I say, organizations and companies, whether they're Black run or not, how could they be utilized to, or how could they be encouraged to and interested in supporting the Black community? I know some companies already do that. I think Sainsbury's here in the UK, and I think Waitrose, I'm pretty sure Waitrose does. In fact, I've seen some of their stuff online on YouTube. I'm pretty sure Sainsbury's does, and there are probably many other organisations, and it would be great to sort of connect together members of the Black community as well, to talk about ways to empower Black people, including in Africa and around the world, in Britain, Africa, Australasia, and all over the world. I'd love to know what people think about each of these ideas. Number 13, again, going through my own personal struggle with writer's block. I wish I could write for an hour each day and be more organised and get my ideas into practice and possibly have more confidence in discussing my ideas and also be able to discuss my own ideas better. But in terms of the black community, I'd love to hear what issues you think you face in terms of politics, getting into politics, how to get more, what issues there are in getting more young black people into politics. When it comes to Africa, I think their leaders, I think, should treat their own people better. I think they should be look at how to unify their countries respectively and unify the continent, all 54 or 55 countries within Africa. And how leaders can avoid corruption, also like black community leaders as well. And like in the UK, like things like knife crime, black crime and violence, and things like that. I think those are some of the issues facing the black community. But again, I'd love to hear what other people think, whether you agree with me or not. Do you think the black community is too divided and things like that? Number 14, what are the solutions to such issues? As I say, to me, across Africa, I think the African leaders, the politicians, and business leaders, and other leaders, generally councillors and whatnot, should be looking at how to unify Africans and like help them to have sympathy and empathy for each other, and take pride in each other's achievements, and like not be jealous of each other, and support each other as much as they can, and provide technological training opportunities like PCs, laptops, mobile phones, and things like that, where people can learn about technology and support each other. And Africans and black people around the world could like teach each other about things they know about tech. For instance, I'm thinking of tech because it's Thursday, like Tech Thursdays. I think that on Tuesdays as well. As I say, I do like to, as I said before in previous videos, I do like to stick to a certain theme for each day. Number 15, also general goal setting. Like as I say, how can the black community work together to help each other with their goals? How can they support each other's projects? Or any members of the black community watching these videos, how do you think black people could support each other more? Not be jealous or envious of each other, but instead like be proud of each other's successes and come together as a community and support each other in tech and other areas. Just generally encourage each other, learn from each other, teach each other, and work on the same sort of goals and things like that. Number 16, what are the best ways, as I say, to support black people to achieve their goals? And that includes in things like politics or other areas, writing books or poetry or art or any other things like that, any sort of work they could work on. I'd love to know what, if any, suggestions you have for the community. I mean, I'd say myself, but it's mainly, even if you comment on these videos, it's mainly for members of the black community to have those sorts of ideas and that kind of thing. Number 17, could you imagine more? Could you imagine if there were more black politicians? And do you think there needs to be? And do you think it would be fair to have more black politicians? And also, I'm thinking of here in Britain, there's the Windrush scandal. I wonder if you feel that the victims of the Windrush scandal should be compensated. I mean, I think the government has already admitted wrongdoing, and they've already talked about compensation, but it's been slow forthcoming as far as I'm aware. So do you think that the government should compensate them more and more quickly? And how do you think the government could compensate them? Like me, I believe they should be tax exempt, or at least pay the lowest possible taxes. Maybe even black people or POC generally as a form of reparations for historical injustices like colonialism, loss of land, loss of liberty, slavery, and things like that. Should be. I'd love to see POC being tax exempt, but these are my own personal opinions. But I always like to support freedom of speech and freedom of expression, the right to disagree, and things like that. Number 18, what do you think are some positives that could be what's the word I'm looking for? Let's say showcased, to put it simply. There's a word I'm trying to think of, but I can't think of it. So what could the black community showcase about work they've achieved and what they've achieved politically or in other ways, and how they've united in some areas, and Pan-Africanism and things like How do you think those sorts of things could be promoted, and positive images of the black community, like Wode Maya, if I pronounce his name right, promotes about Africa itself? What do you think they could? What sort of tales or stories? I'm thinking of tales because it's Thursday again, going back to alliteration. Could be told about. When I say tales, I mean true tales, true, true stories. Shall we say, to put it simply, about like business success stories. Because I think sometimes you hear about the black community and you hear about struggles and division, violence, crime, and things like that. And I think those are very negative. Obviously, I know those are very negative um, views and stereotypes. So they could be like the black images they don't want you to see, or things like that, all around the world, in Britain as well as Africa and Australasia, and success stories. I think that'd be pretty cool. Tales, and when I say tales, I don't mean fake stories. I mean real tales, true tales. Number 19. How can we support more black people generally in areas like poetry, writing, art, and things like that? And number 20, also in tech, and what can the younger generation learn? What can they teach the younger generation, like the older gen? What can the younger generation learn from the older generation? But also, I suppose, in terms of tech, probably the older generations can learn a lot more from younger people. And how can we get young black people to be involved in politics and tech and areas like that? Again, if you're interested in the interviews, one-on-one or as a group, or like Zoom groups where you get many members talking about how we can empower black people in Britain and possibly all around the world, please let me know. Either send me a message, or you can just write in the comments, type up in the comments if you want. And I'd love to record such videos for YouTube. Anyway, peace and love. I'm out.